Hello, welcome to SwitchedOn, Paul speaking, and today I'm going to be doing another of my What Is series, and today I'm looking at European Truck Racing Championship, and I believe in America this one is just called Truck Racing Championship, so a slightly different name and a slightly different look on the eShop, but it's the same game published by Big Ben Interactive, who previously released TT Isle of Man and V Rally 4, so they're quite well versed in their racing games. Now, firstly, you may be thinking, why a truck racing game? I know I was kind of asking that because, we're still dying for a proper racing simulation game on the Switch. And, if you've got the engine like these guys can produce, then I don't know, why would you do a truck game? Why wouldn't you grab hold of the British Touring Cars license or something and, try and reboot that game, because I'm sure that would do really well. But anyway, here we are with trucks. So let's have a quick look at this one. This isn't a review of such. I'm going to be reviewing this one closer to release date because, hand on heart, it's not great. So I want to kind of wait. I've had some back and forth with the PR people. We're trying to get some information on when a patch is going to be released for this one because it doesn't perform the best. It has a few problems. Let's have a race around Laguna Seca while we talk about this game. So yeah, as you'd expect, big chunky trucks, racing simulation. To be honest, this one struggles a lot. I mean, I've seen frame rates down in the single digits at times. When you're on the track alone and not pushing things too far, you're probably getting towards 30 frames a second, but introduce some other trucks into the mix and yeah, it really plummets, which I'm sure we'll see plenty of here. So we'll have a look at the Laguna Seca just because I know the track, and as you can see, the graphics, the textures aren't the best. Look at this kind of grid flyby. You can see there's lots of jagged lines, lots of shimmering, lots of low textures. It's really weird. As you're sort of going around the track, sometimes I catch myself looking at the graphics and, in a split second thinking, hey, this isn't actually that bad. But I think overall, on the whole, it's not great. I mean, look at this here. This isn't great at all, is it? It's almost getting on for a slideshow almost, but no, let's get into the race. So I prefer to race from this cockpit view, but I will cycle through the other views. There are some external views and rooftop view. So it's a 3-lap race. We're currently 12th, and one of the first things that you'll get to learn with this game is you're not really allowed to bump the other trucks, which is quite annoying because A, it's hard to control, and B, you kind of feel like you want to.
Spray water on them.
Now, that woman, you will grow to absolutely despise that woman. She repeats the same message about cooling your brakes constantly in the race. I mean, you certainly don't forget to cool your brakes, which is kind of the point of it, I guess, but it's so annoying. So we'll have a talk about that when we just get past this
keep it tight in the corners.
Opening section. So yeah, when you do hammer on the brakes in one of these big trucks, stopping's obviously an issue. So they overheat really quickly, and if they overheat too much, they degrade in performance quite quickly. So you have to spray them with water as you're braking. You can put this on an automatic function, but basically as you're braking, you need to be tapping or pressing A, and that sprays water from your water tank onto the brakes. Now you can see at the bottom right hand corner you've got a couple of gauges. The one sort of second in from the left is your brake gauge, and you've got 4 different brakes around the outside: front left, front right, rear left, rear right. Indication of how hot they're getting, and in the middle you've got your water tank gauge. That blue line up the middle is how much water you've got left. You only have a finite amount in your tank for the race. Quite a weird mechanic. It's okay. It's quite annoying with the woman keep reminding you all the time to cool your brakes down. It's like, we get it, the brakes are hot. Yeah, as I say, you can switch that to
Remember
water.
to spray water on them.
I'm I'm spraying water, you silly woman. The handling is, as you'd expect, pretty clunky for these big trucks. They're not the most nimblest of things, but then again, they do feel like they've got some weight to them, which you would want in this sort of truck racing game. So I can't be too harsh. Obviously, I've never driven a truck, certainly not in a racing environment, so I can't tell you if these physics are amazing. I'm guessing they're not. But they feel chunky enough. But it just makes the whole racing experience a bit sluggish, a bit cumbersome. I don't know if there's a lot of truck racing fans. It's such a niche thing, you know.
Okay,
the Switch
focus.
is pretty niche anyway, you know, in the grand scheme of things. And racing games are pretty niche, and you know, within that genre, truck racing must be incredibly niche. So I just really don't know who they've made this game for. When they've got a racing simulation, you know, engine. Do something else with it. People are crying out for a car racing simulation game on the Switch. We've got Grid coming sometime, allegedly, meant to be this summer.
Keep your brakes cool. Remember to spray water on them.
So here is obviously an external view. This is the first external view. One that if I do use external views, I use the most because it's slightly higher, and obviously these vehicles are longer, so you can get a reasonable view in front of your truck. The next view, cycling the wrong way, sorry. So this is the next view, which is slightly closer in. Makes it a little bit harder to see what you're doing. Let's just get around the famous corkscrew again. Hard left, oh, hard right. There we go. Navigated that. This is a rooftop view. Not too bad. Doesn't feel too bad frame rate wise when you're using this view. Bumper cam back into the cab, and then this view here is like a helmet cam, which I'm not sure exactly what it does, apart from just obscures your top.
Remember to spray water on them.
Top and bottom peripheral vision, but you know you can look around the cab when you're in this view. So run our final lap. The frame rate's actually behaved not too badly. This is obviously docked at the moment as well. When you're in handheld, the performance is a lot worse, but it's certainly not super smooth. Let's talk a couple of things about the handling model. It's got this, I don't know what it is on the Switch. It seems to be in a lot of games, a lot of racing games, where
keep the racing clean. Good overtake.
The vehicles will snap. Now it's probably seen better here if we use an outside
Keep your brakes cool. Remember to spray water on them.
At a certain point of the braking, vehicles will oversteer and sort of snap and then lock you into a slide to the side. Now, I say it happens a lot in Switch games, and the common denominator there may be that I'm playing them, but I've been playing racing games for like 30 years, so I've never had handling like you get in some of these Switch games. It's just really weird. I don't know why they've got that in common, but this has it as well. Like you'll get to the point where your truck will just snap and pull to the side, but of course now it's not going to do it. So yeah, there is that as well. Oh, can't get past the AI here. Doing a good job of holding me up. Must remember to squirt the brakes with water. Go for an undercut. Oh, sliding into that corner, but we get the undercut done. Coming up to the final corner. So we'll have one more go. We'll have another track after this and just talk a little bit more about some of the other things.
Remember to spray water on them.
Generally, if we get a finish here, where we finish 5th, that's not too bad. So we'll have a quick run through the front end, show you some of the things there.
That was a good lap.
It's got a career mode and split screen, and you can see there from the trucks, you've got the European style trucks with the flat fronts and the American style trucks that have that kind of nose out on front. So we've got a career mode, quick race which we just did, championship, you can make your own championship up, time trials and split screen. I believe the time trials got online leaderboards, I think. Maybe not. I'm not going to go into that. We've got a series of stats. And then in the showroom here, you can customize your trucks quite a bit. I think there's like 40 odd trucks, 45 trucks or so to unlock. And then you can sort of have a good look around all these different vehicles. So a quick look at the career mode. And the most annoying thing about this career mode, and I absolutely despised starting this game, forced license tests in racing games. I know Gran Turismo kind of started the trend back in the day, but you have to go through, I think it was 15. You have to go through 15 little mini tests, each with about, I don't know, 30 to 60 seconds load in between them. So you got, go into the test, load it for 30 to 60 seconds, do, 15, 20 seconds driving, come back out for 30 to 60 seconds, back to this menu to pick the next license test. It was an absolute drag. Hated pretty much every second of it. And you're not allowed to sort of start the career mode until you've done, all 15 of these tutorials. So that for me was an instant turn off. So I really didn't want to play much more than I did after starting these license tests. But soldiered through it. And so we get into, as I say, a reasonably in-depth career mode. You kind of start as a driver for hire. And you get sort of spot races, so you get picked up for single races. Let's actually try one of the career mode races here. This is at Italy at the Misano World Circuit. And once you prove yourself in these sort of one-off driver for hire sort of events, then you should get picked up by a team to take you forward for the rest of the season. And so, to be fair, the career mode isn't actually too bad. It's quite standard stuff, race to race, but it's quite in depth. Loading times, as we sort of feel in here, is a little bit long. But I mean, these sort of trackside graphics, not great, very basic lighting. You can see there in the banners across the top, the resolution of the textures and stuff is pretty poor. So jaggy.
FIA ETRC is ready to race.
I was going to say the whole thing smacks of a budget title, but this is £40 in the UK, I believe, and I think actually in America it's $40. I think it might be £45 in the UK and $40. I'm going to check that in a sec for you, but I know it was a hell of a lot cheaper. I think in pounds it works out about £32 when the conversion from dollars is done, and like £45 in the UK, so a massive difference. This one was delayed for a couple of weeks as well. It's been out on PlayStation, Xbox and I think PC for a couple of weeks now. It came out kind of sometime at the start of July.
If you see
And
an
then at
opening,
the
go
last
for
minute
it.
the Switch version got delayed. Now we were hoping that was for sort of a day one patch, which may still come, which is why I'm still holding off finishing my final review on this, because I just want to give it a chance. If they can patch it and get the frame rate up and do something with the graphics, then I'm not gonna. Whoa! What happened now? But it felt like didn't feel like I got clipped then. It felt like the truck just spun out on its own. Bit annoying. So we're back to plumb last. But you can see it's just with the best will in the world, it's just an ugly game. I mean, you've got the racing arrow here. It's just really low resolution in the
Keep your brakes
distance. It
cool.
just
Remember to
twinkles
spray water
and
on them.
flickers on and off. It just looks ugly. Textures in the background. I mean, look at those trees. They're just like green blobs. And again, this is in the better looking mode. This is in docked. In handheld, this is even worse. So there we go, around that corner. Got a long way to catch up the other trucks now, but catch them up we probably will. So the AI in this game isn't particularly smart. I might expect to be back on the tail end of the trucks that left me behind pretty soon. There's one now. Well, what you can make out from a textured mess in the distance.
Keep your brakes cool. Remember to spray water on them.
I know a lot of people were looking forward to this as well. It's kind of why I grabbed a copy to review for you guys, because I wanted to come through for the people in the comments that were asking about this one. But as I say, we're desperate for a really good racing simulator, and I'm just praying that A, Grid comes out pretty soon, and B, it lives up to my expectations. If you haven't played Grid Autosport on the iPad or iPhone, Feral Interactive, who make that, done a great job with the port and the conversion. Even the first iteration of it that they launched was launched on high-end iPad and iPhones only, just due to the performance. And they didn't give up. They kept working at it, and they've improved. Not only got it working on lower spec iPads, and they didn't stop there, because they actually increased performance across the board. And it now, it's, you know, the look of it is much improved in terms of sort of lighting and you know, smoke and sparks, and you know, all those little things that just give it that little bit of shine and polish. And you know, the frame rate's high as well, so they've done a great job. So I'm really expecting them to come through on the Switch. But as you see, after practically spinning our truck, we're like right back on the tail of the pack. So you can see here, like, I'm looking across at that white truck there, and you know, you think actually in isolation, in tiny little pockets, this game doesn't look that bad. But you know, when you take a wider view and sort of consider that everything that's right in front of you, the track and textures, it's just not good. So we've gained a place. I'm not going to do all 12 of these laps. I'm going to wrap this video up in a second. So thanks for watching. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news on this one. As I say, this isn't a review, but you've obviously picked up on the tone of my thoughts on this one. So don't be expecting a huge score when I do produce my review. Look at that truck there, just completely lost control, going down a straight, started snaking from left to right, and it just ended up going off the track. So I don't know. I'm really hoping we get a patch for this. It needs to be patched. Hoping it's going to be patched in the next couple of days before launch. So anyone that does pick it up gets a better version than what it currently is at the moment. But yeah, in its present state, it's not great. Just finish this lap in 10th place, but we could probably go on and win this race in the next 12 laps. Not a problem. And remember, kids, water those brakes. Okay, thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
Try to hold
Bye-bye.
your position.